Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking specifically at one particular comp. We're going to be looking at a Predator comp. This has been pretty popular here in Teamfight Tactics since the new Set 2 champions came out in Rise of the Elements. This is going to be taken from the initial patch for Rise of the Elements. I believe that this was patch 9.22. By the time you watch this, though, this is probably going to be outdated. I suspect that the next patch will already be out, 9.23. So some of these things will no longer be relevant because there's going to be some changes in that patch. But in any case, still did want to go ahead and show some of the gameplay here. Now, one of the first things to note anytime you're playing Teamfight Tactics here in Set 2 is to note which one of the elements you get at the start of the match. This one is going to be an Inferno map, so we're going to have that fire element. What that does is champions that appear on the little fire hexes get 30% additional attack speed. There it is, I actually highlighted it in this footage. Champion starts with 30% extra attack speed. You are, that means that the setups that have these Inferno maps, not Infernal, Inferno, these Inferno maps tend to lead towards comps that are more physical in nature, that are more attack speed in nature. So if you have champions that might be rangers or any different champions that might be auto attack based, that's kind of the champs that you are typically going to get. So on the very first set of champions here, I end up getting 2 different Cogmals, and I also get a Warwick. Both of them are Predator units, and because of that, that means I'm already kind of leaning towards going into some kind of a Predator comp here. Now, what is Predator? Just for the curious, if you haven't seen this before, Predator is you know, I never know what to call these things. I guess I'm just going to call them buffs. I think they're technically supposed to be like origins or elements, but I don't know. I just tend to think of them as like buffs or attributes or something like that. Anyway, but Predator requires 3 champions to get there. Actually, only 4 Predator champs in the game, so it's kind of an early game focused setup. And if you can make the Predator buff, what it is they instantly kill any enemies they damage who are below 25% health. Now again, if you're watching that, and there we go, I immediately get Cog 2-star here on the second set of champions. So I'm like, all right, this looks like I should probably try to go into Predators, but you know, we might end up getting something else. At the very least, we'll run with the 2-star Cog and kind of see what else we get. So you can see I'm going to toss in Nasus, I'm going to toss in Braum because they make Warden, and that at least gets me something else. And I'm just going to continue to try and get a full bench to have stuff to pick up when depending on what I get from both from the minions and then from future rolls of the champions. But anyway, as I was saying, Predator, it is an early game setup. There are only three different, it only has a 3 champion setup. There is no like Predator 4 or Predator 5. It only has the 3 champion setup. It did also get nerfed in the patch that will be out by the time you watch this video. I believe they knocked it down from 25% down to 20%, the execute from 25% health remaining down to 20%. If I'm remembering the patch notes correctly, I could be wrong on that. If so, my apologies. But for this particular patch, Predator's a good way to go. You can see I'm also now going to toss in some Druid champs here. And then at this point, I was thinking, you know, let's see, I've got 2 Talias here. Might want to put that in if I can get a 3rd one to make Mountain, but we'll see. I don't really know what I want to pair with this yet. I still can't make the Predator comp yet because I only have 2 out of 3 champs. I have Cog and I have Warwick. And then here I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell champs. I'm going to level to 4 and put in Nico so I can get that Woodland in, but I'm slightly too slow. I don't get Nico in time. Instead, the game randomly hands me, well, not randomly, it hands me another Ivern because that was the champ that was in the leftmost position on my bench. That's what you get if you have like an extra slot. The game will put in the champion that's in the leftmost slot. So unfortunately, that means I don't make Woodland here, and that means I lose this comp to RLNGG33, who is in fact running a Predator comp himself, and he's already made his Predator because he's got the Cog in there and he's got the Warwick, and I believe he had either Skarner or Rek'Sai because those are the only other 2 Predator champs in the game. So he had one of them. So yeah, his comp beat mine. I think if I had gotten Nico in, I would have won that round. I think because I had Cog 2-star and he didn't. So anyway, other reasons why this is a good setup for a Predator's game. It is an Inferno Hex, as I mentioned before. That is, so you get extra attack speed from the Inferno Hex. And look, so that goes well with Cogmaw. Cog obviously benefits from extra attack speed. You can put various different attack speed based items. For example, the Ginsu's Rage Blade is really good on him. A Static Shiv is quite good on him. The what's the word I'm looking for? The Giant Slayer is quite good on him because that's attack damage plus attack speed. And Ludens is also quite good on him as well because Ludens will proc the Predator ability when you get the Ludens, when you get the little splash from his ultimate. So all that is good. And in addition to this, look at what items I have. I have double BF swords, so that also means that I should be looking to go towards some kind of AD comp here with my items. And there you see what happens when I actually do have Cog 2-star plus the full Druid Woodland setup. Druid gives extra health regen, and the Woodlands means that one of the Woodland units gets cloned at the start of the fight. Does not clone items, but does clone the champion for that fight. It is random though, so you can't control it. So Druid Woodland early game comp. The other thing that I'm looking here is I went ahead and looked at what other people were running. That's extremely important to do when you're playing here in set 2. And I noticed only one other person is running Predators, so that is a good sign. I don't have to compete with like 2 or 3 other people. And there we go. Now I have gotten Rek'Sai here. That means I'm able to go into Predators, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I will take out the Nico and put in Ezreal, and that's going to make Glacial. So right here, I'm like, all right, this looks like a pretty solid setup for this particular comp. We're going to run Predators for the early game, and then we'll see what else we can go into later. I'm thinking I would like to go into Glacial because this is, again, an Inferno map. That means Ezreal is a really good fit for this. I can go Ezreal and pick up that Glacial 2, which it creates a chance to freeze. Glacial 2 is 20% chance to freeze on auto attack. So like, watch Ezreal. He's going to turn and attack Diana here, and he would die to Diana, but he gets off a super clutch freeze right there. And so we're just barely able to execute Diana before she gets her ult off. And this could have been a really close fight, but because we get the execute from Cog's Cog's Predator damage before Diana gets her ult off, we end up winning. And it doesn't look that close, but that actually was a pretty close fight. So the clutch freeze coming in, like I said, from Ezreal. Glacial seems to synergize pretty well with Predator because when they're frozen, it just gives your Predators more time to chip their health away and get that execute off. And now, because we've got kind of an extended round here, I'm going to sell the champs that I had early on in the game that don't look like they're going to make any particular comp. And I'm going to use the opportunity to get up to 10 gold so I can start stacking money. I've got a decent enough setup here for the early game. I'm confident I can start winning some rounds with what I've got here. Cog 2-star plus Warwick 2-star. And that'll allow me to try to bank some money because I am a little low on econ for this stage of the game. Now, in terms of what I want right here, I'm trying to think about different items, and I decide, all right, I'm going to go for the recurve bow because I want attack speed with Cog. Again, Inferno map, so attack speed's prioritized higher than it would be normally, and I'm going to look to go ahead and pair this this recurve bow together with the BF swords I've already picked up, and that'll make Giant Slayer. Now, Giant Slayer is not as strong as it was in set 1. At the end of set 1, it was kind of like the overpowered item. It used to do a percentage of max health. Now it just does a percentage, I believe, of current health, so it's not quite as good, but it's still attack speed plus attack damage, and that's a nice combo. And look, I'm getting more of these Predator units here. I've got another Rek'Sai, so I only need one more to make Rek'Sai 2-star, and I've got 2 out of 3 Ezreals as well. So I'm thinking like, all right, we'll go Predator plus Glacial now. We'll see what we can go into. Later on, I can look to go into Shadow. So for example, if I pick up a what's the champ I'm thinking? If I pick up a Kindred, I can pick up a Ranger plus Shadow. If I were to pick up Twitch in the late game, I could pick up Twitch and get Poison if I can find Singed or Mundo. So I've got a lot of options here, and that's also a good sign for the rest of the game. It's really important to be thinking about what your comp is going to go into in time. Like you want to be thinking not just about what you have right now, but where you're going to end up at the end of the game. And this is what I was really struggling with when I started with set 2. I didn't have a good notion of where I wanted my comps to go. But like with more practice, you get better at this. You get better at knowing like which champions fit together, and a better sense of how you're going to get from where you are right now to where you want to be at the end of the game. Anyway, so that particular round that we just fought was up against someone who was running a Warden plus Electric setup, and it was basically like a very, very tanky setup, but that particular comp didn't have much in the way of damage. And here I'm looking at the other comps. Again, this is pre-recorded footage. If you haven't seen my videos before, it's like I'm seeing Assassin, I'm seeing Ranger Shadow, I'm seeing that Warden comp that we just had right there, and I'm like, all right, Inferno there. I'm like, I'm not seeing a lot of I'm not seeing much contested battle for these Predator champs, so that's really good. That means I have a much better chance of potentially 3-starring Kog'Maw later on, which would be super, super good. Again, one of the weaknesses of Predators, it doesn't scale great into late game because, again, there is no, like I said, 4 Predator comp or 5 Predator comp or 6 Predator. It stops here at 3, and all the Predator champs are early game champions. Cog is a 1-cost unit, Warwick's a 1-cost unit. Rek'Sai's a 1-cost unit, and then Skarner's the other Predator. He's also a 2-cost unit. So there's no 3-cost, 4-cost, or 5-cost Predators, all early game focused. But you can kind of work around that if you can get some 3-star units. Particular Cogmaul will be the carry early on in this game. If I can get a 3-star Cog, then Predator can keep being effective even into the late game. And it's also important what items I get on him as well. So like I said, lots of attack speed. I'd love to get a Rage Blade. I'd love to get Ludens because that'll cause his ult to go off more often, and I'll also get that splash damage. You get the idea. So anyway, here I am right now. We're going to get a minion round here, and I'm just trying to pick up more Glacial units. You've noticed I picked up Braum, and I picked up Volibear. They're just sitting on the bench right now, but I'll go ahead and toss in Volibear here. I'm just going to have him tank the 2 Krugs on the left. I think I actually decide instead to put in Vayne. If you're wondering why I picked up Vayne, Vayne is a little 1-cost unit, but I can pick up Ranger buff with her. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll toss Rek'Sai over there just to tank the 2 Krugs. Rek'Sai will definitely die, but she'll buy me time just to kill the other Krugs, and we'll see what items we get. So like I said, options. I want to make sure I can pick up Ranger. That'll boost Ezreal. It won't boost Cog, but that's okay. And let's see, what am I going to get? I'm going to get a Chain Vest there, and then we're going to get a Giant Spell here. I was like, alright, that creates some options. I can make red buff there, as you see me highlight. And I get another BF sword. That's my 3rd BF sword of the game. And at this point I was thinking, you know what? This is a Ranger. This is a Inferno map. By the way, we also get the other Inferno tile back there in the back corner. And that's really nice because that's a great spot for Cog. The previous Inferno tile was not in a great spot. It was kind of way up in the front where I don't want Cog. So I'm looking at different items. I'm like, alright, red buff. I've got the Guardian Angel. But Guardian Angel's been nerfed pretty significantly. And then I see Zeke's here. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going a pretty heavily based attack speed comp. I'm going to have at least a couple of Rangers in here. You know what? Let's pick up that. I almost dropped the Nico in there, which I do not. I was like, let's drop the Zeke's Herald in here and just get that attack speed buff. And I actually screw up my positioning because I ran out of time there, so this is not ideal. But having Zeke's Herald in there, which will boost the attack speed of my champion, seems like a really good idea. So my positioning's off here, and this is going to be kind of a close fight. But we get a clutch Glacial freeze on the Nasus there before he can stack up that Death Blade. Only got 3 stacks, and then we kill the Cog. And then, oh, we got a very close fight here between Cog and Varus, and there's the Predator kicking in for the win. Predator was a little bit overpowered in this patch. So we managed to get Varus right before he draws back the bow and kills my Cogmaul, and so I keep that very, very nice win streak intact at 5 wins for kicking in extra income. So early on in the game, Econ wasn't all that strong, but now that I've had this long win streak, my Econ is back in really good shape. So you can see me picking up more champs. Again, I'm picking up the Volibear. I am going to look to put in Volibear soon. When I get to level 6, I'm going to drop the Vayne, and then I'm going to put in Volibear plus Braum, and that will get me to Glacial 4. Glacial 4 gives a higher chance to stun. In this patch, it was 35%. In this patch, it was 40%, and then it's been nerfed down to 35% in the most recent patch because Glacial was a little overstrong in this particular set. But again, I'm looking at the different items, but I haven't found anything I quite want to make there yet with these other items. I'm not really looking to go Guardian Angel on Cog. I would rather get something that has some kind of attack speed on it. So here we've got another one of these Woodland Druid comps paired together with mages. And look, we just need our frontline to hold up. But look, there is a 3-star Vlad, an early 3-star Vlad, and my frontline's actually getting shredded here pretty easily. So yeah, this round does not go well. I actually lose rather badly there. Could not stand up to the 3-star Vlad. And the Nico with the Mage Hat actually was pretty strong too. Morellonomicon plus what's the actual name for that item? I've got the item list here. Hold on, I'm gonna look at it. I actually don't have the name. It just says where is also mage. I think it's like the Wooglit's Witch Cap or something. Not getting that 100% right. But yeah, it turns Nico into a mage. Then Nico gets off a double-casted version of that Morellonomicon boosted ult. And Nico's ult actually does do a lot of damage. The problem with Nico is she's Woodland Druid, so she doesn't scale. So anyway, we lost that one. It wasn't particularly close. That was not a great round for us. But instead, we're going to go ahead and level to 6 here. I think I lost that round. I was like, all right, I lost. Let's see if we can stabilize before we lose more. And then I make a terrible mistake, worst mistake of the game. I am intending to put Zeke's Herald on Ezreal, and I accidentally used my Nico on him. I was like, oh no, I accidentally made Ezreal 2-star with that. I was like, oh boy, what a waste of that item. That would have been so useful for getting me to Cog 3-star, but in any case, it does make Ezreal 2-star, so I mean, I guess it's not terrible. At least I didn't drop it on like a 1-star Vayne I'm not going to be using. But yeah, that was a huge waste, and I did not intend to do that. So that was a pretty bad misclick. Also, we're not really getting the full benefit out of the Zeeks right now. If you haven't seen Zeeks before, let me just read the official description to you because I've got the item list right here. Zeeks, at start, allies 2 spaces to the left and right gain 20% attack speed for the rest of the battle. I am looking back to check what items I have here. I have a BF sword and I have a chain vest, so I can make a number of different things here. Now, I'm going to be one of the last ones to pick because I'm high on health, but again, that's not bad. You can make good items out of anything on the board, typically. And I never really mind picking last on the carousel because that means I've got a lot of health, and that's good. So I'm going to look at different items here, and as it turns out, I can get a Volibear, which will make Volibear 2-star, and also get a recurve bow, and that's quite good. That's a good combination for me, so I'm happy to pick that up. It actually means that I'm not going to sell the Volibear. By the way, I also get 2 more cogs, so I'm like, all right, this is great. I just need, what, 4 more Cogmalls to make Cogmal 3-star. Wish I still had that Nico. But I make Volibear 2-star, and I can go ahead and put the chain vest on him if I want, which would make, makes the Phantom Dancer. User dodges all critical strikes, and I'm pretty happy to have that on Volibear. It will make him much more tanky. Also gives him a little bit of extra attack speed, so let's put him on that Inferno Hex, and I'm just going to put everybody else in the back row so they can take advantage of Zeeks. It's, again, the positioning's not ideal. I would like to have someone in that top right corner to pick up enemies that are coming in, but Warwick and Rek'Sai are melee, so they're going to walk in that direction anyway, and that's going to allow the Ezreal and the Cog in the back line to be protected, and they're just going to be taking advantage of all the extra attack speed. So this particular comp right here is just like super tank based. So that Ornn is very, very, very tanky with the Thornmail plus the Warmogs, but we just shoot right through him like he's not even there. And that, again, is the benefit of having that Predator set up. All you have to do is get him down to 25% health, and as soon as that happens, he immediately dies. At this point in time, the comp I'm most worried about is actually Face Murderer, because he's the one who, beat me really badly in that last fight. And by the way, there's another Cog 2-star. I'm like, oh, this is great. We only need 3 more Cogs. Really wish I still had that Nico. And again, I'm still thinking about what I want to make in the future. I've got the Scion here, and I've got Kindred, so that'll allow me to, if I put them both in, I can get up to Shadow 2, and that would also give me another Ranger. So that will give me an option at level 8. I could put those 2 in and get up to, like I said, get some Shadow in play, or I would still love to get Poison in play too, and that's actually my preferred chance. By the way, there's the Glacial. You can see this is patch 9.22 because it has the 40% chance to stun, and the Glacial's just been really doing work in these fights for me. So here we've got Freakout's comp. He has a lot of 2-star units, but he doesn't really have much. He just has Steel and nothing else. So his comp is relatively weak for this stage of the game. He's got a ton of money, so he will be able to, presumably roll for more units, but he's going to have to find something because you can see how badly I beat him there. He just really didn't have much of anything. He had Steel 2, and that's it. So most of his units had absolutely no buffs helping them out, no attributes, whatever you want to call it. So like I said, he lost badly. Also, I should have picked up the Volibear there. I actually ended up getting a fair amount of Volibears, and I think I could have made Volibear 3-star in this game if I'd been picking up the Volibears pretty consistently. Instead, though, I'm just going to grab the Scion, so now we've got the potential for Scion. We've got a Scion 2 on our bench, which we're not even putting in at this point. I was thinking about whether it was worthwhile to drop the Braum to put in Scion, but I really did want to have that Glacial, and I was thinking, for right now, we've got a minion round here. Let's just see what we get from the Wolves, and we can make some decisions. By the way, there's the Zeeks. I highlight it. It is attack damage, which is why it's on Ezreal. Also provides extra health, makes him a little bit tankier. I don't have it on Cog because I think I can still get better items on Cog. Cog is the carry here in my setup right now. The rest of the team is just frontlining for us. And Ezreal is kicking in some decent damage, but Cog's the carry. So look what I get. Double recurve bows here. So I was like, I could put the double recurves on him, and that would make rapid fire cannon. I'm going to go ahead and level to 7 here. But I think that what I'd rather do is just put in another Ranger here. Or actually put in a Ranger. We didn't have the Ranger 2 buff. I forgot. Cog's not a Ranger. Cog's Poison plus Predator. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up Twitch. Again, keep that... Actually, I was going to put in Twitch, but I was like, wait, do I want to put Twitch or Kindred in? I decided to put in Kindred. And then I can go ahead and make Giant Slayer. Another Giant Slayer is like, all right, well, Giant Slayer's not as good as it was in set 1, but it's still good. It's still attack damage and attack speed. So between the Zeeks, double Giant Slayer, and that Inferno Hex, Cog attacks really fast. Just watch how fast Cog attacks in this battle. Gets off that ult pretty consistently, and again, he's got that Predator. So Diana is finally going to kill Cog, but by the time she does that, she's pretty much taken out, and Glacial, again, doing work. We freeze Diana once, and then when she comes out of that, we freeze Diana again, And the Predators, all they have to do is hit one time. Like, Warwick is still alive. You just got to hit one time once that health gets low, and it's an instant kill because Predators got that execute. So I'm just rolling. I had like a six game winning streak, and I lost one round, and now I'm back to a 4-game winning streak again. So I'm in really, really good shape right now. I'm level 7. I'm sitting on basically max econ. I've got 49 gold. I'll be at 50 if I win this. And I still have even more strong units I can put in off the bench. Like, I still have a Scion 2 just sitting here that I'm not even using yet, that I'm going to slot in when I hit 8. So the game has been really generous in terms of giving me stuff. Like, it gave me all these cogs. It gave me a very easy Predator comp here. I didn't really have to work hard for it. But I've done a good job of taking advantage of what I have here, too. And I think one of the things that's been helpful is, like I said, knowing where I wanted to go with my comp. And also leaving options. Like, I went... Like, the basic comp here is Predator plus Glacial, but then I've had options to go into Poison or go into Shadow, depending on what I would get. And this comp just got absolutely destroyed. RLNGG33, his positioning was a little bit questionable. I think he had some of his... less tanky champs kind of up on the front line, but like we just chewed through that in seconds, and you're seeing how fast I'm winning these battles. One other nice thing about winning by such a large margin is you deal a lot of damage to the enemy team. Like, I think RLNGG took like 15 damage from that. So like every time I'm winning these rounds, not only am I getting lots of money, but I'm also eating away at the health bars of the other players too, which is great because some of them are already getting low. So yep, just gonna drop in money, drop in experience until I get to the 50 gold. And then I'm, just ready to sit on this comp. I didn't hit anything on this particular roll, and I'm pretty comfortable with what I have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and use this time, look and see what people are running. So this comp right here from Gilva is probably the strongest. Shadow, Summoner, Ranger. Like, that's a comp that scales well. That's going to be strong. Some of these other Woodland ones, the Warden 6-1 that doesn't really have any damage, some of these are not going to stand up very well. This Poison one, Poison Alchemist, already is hit on Singe. That could be kind of strong later in the game as well. But some of these comps that are still relying heavily on Woodland Druid, they're just not going to work long term. Anyway, so yeah, you can see pretty much the same thing I've been doing in these previous battles. This one's a little bit closer though. Kata Omoi is, he's managed to kill almost everyone, but he still does not have a kill on Cog. And as long as Cog's alive, Cog's going to chomp, 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 munch through everybody and win these fights. I guess I should also talk briefly about the Phantom Dancer that I put on Volibear, because I haven't really mentioned that. The Phantom Dancer causes them to dodge all critical strikes, so Volibear is there to tank, and this means he does really well against anyone who's running a crit build, so it's just basically there to make him more tanky. I would love to get like a Giant's Belt and put Warmogs on him would be super nice, or if I could get like a the Frozen Fist, what's the official name for that? The Glacial... Ice Glacial Mallet, whatever one, the one that causes you to get the slow zone when you dodge. I can't recall the exact name. Anyway, there's a lot of good stuff here, but the stuff I wanted was pretty much all taken by the time that I was able to pick. Like, I really would have liked that Cog, but the Cog was already gone, so I was like, alright, well, I guess I'll just take another BF sword again. This was probably a mistake. I probably should have grabbed the Needlessly Large Rod, because I could have made Rage Blade with that, and I think that would have been better. Like, I don't need a third Giant Slayer on Cog. I think that would have been a stronger choice, but another BF sword's not bad. Remember, I've got the Ezreal here. I'm planning to go into either Twitch or Kindred. Like I said, I'm still not 100% sure which one of them is going to be the next one that I go with. And I also do make another Volibear. Like I said, I actually passed on a couple Volibears earlier, so could have been almost a Volibear 3-star right now if I'd done that. And here I just decide, all right, let's get another synergy in. I'm on a 6-match winning streak. Let's just go to 8 right here. Put in Scion. That gives a little bit more tankiness, protection for Cog. You can see I'm putting Braum and Rek'Sai in the corner to make it harder for an assassin to jump on top of Cog, which is quite common. So we're up against the tank comp here. This one is the one with all the Wardens. And like I said, that Warden in particular is super duper tanky, and that's kind of who I have to chomp through because Cog has been going after that. Also, a really nice use of the ultimate from Nautilus actually knocked Cog out of the fight, and so we've actually got to do the rest of this fight without Cog. But there's the Predator damage. Like I said, Predator a little bit overpowered in this patch. So Rek'Sai gets the execute for Predator, and then like the Hardly Able crew is just barely able to finish that one off. But yeah, the Nautilus ult hitting Cog in the corner really was not fun. He got stunned, I think, for like 4 seconds or something like that, and then got taken out. So yeah, if Cog gets taken out in these fights, I'm in bad shape because the rest of the team really doesn't have much in the way of damage. The rest of them are mostly there to freeze for the Glacial or just to provide general tankiness. So I'm very reliant on Cog. What I actually want here is some other kind of secondary carry. Is what I would like to see, and I think I can build towards that long term. You can see now I've picked up Ash as well. That gives me yet another option. If I would get Taric, I could go into Crystal here in the endgame with Ash plus Taric. Ash plus Taric, by the way, just got buffed, both of them, in the 9.23 patch, so we should be seeing a lot more of them. So again, just trying to keep options open here. Once again, this is the comp with the Diana 3-star, but as it turns out, we actually kind of munched through the entire rest of the comp very quickly, leaving just that Diana. She gets frozen again, and fortunately, Ezreal's on the case. Ezreal's able to get the, once again, crucial freeze on Diana, the Diana 3-star, that stops her from getting off more uses of her ultimate with that shield. And so that, together with their surviving Predator champs, is enough to finish her off. And again, I'm on now an 8-game winning streak, so I'm just sitting pretty here. Like I said, we're already seeing people get knocked out of the game. We're down to 7 players right now. And it looks like right now I'm on a crash course with Gilva, who's also on a big-time winning streak. I don't know how many he has, but he's got the big flame graphic, which is how you can always see. So at this point, I just want to try to go to 9, but I'm not going to burn my economy to do that. I'm going to sit at 50 gold and just dump in XP as I get above 50, and then see what 5-cost units I get. Like if I get an early Singed, I'll probably go Poison. Also picked up the Mundo here in case I want to go that route, like I said, with Poison champs. But if I were to get something like Taric, I might go the Crystal route. And if I would get like an early Master Yi, maybe I'll go Shadow 4. Shadow 4, very popular. It did get nerfed in the patch that you guys are playing. Got nerfed from Shadow 4 from 100% damage boost to 85% damage boost. So a little bit less strong out in the wild version that everybody's using right now. In any case though, here's another minion round, so we're going to see what we get. It turns out I'm going to get lots of money. That's not so great. I have plenty of money. What I need is items. And I end up getting the item that I should have picked up earlier. I pick up that needlessly large rod. So that does make Rage Blade, and I'm like, alright, well, let's get the Rage Blade in here. Might as well make use of that item. I'm going to, again, dump what XP I can in. And boy, wow, am I ever rich in this game. So we'll take Cog off of the Inferno tile, put the Rage Blade on him, and then someone else can actually use that tile. So I'm trying to shift this around, like, alright, who can I put there? I can put Kindred on there. That seems pretty good. Get Kindred that extra attack speed, 30% extra attack speed, and then I was thinking of shifting Braum over here. I was like, wait a minute, no, let's keep Braum with the extra attack speed as well. And then I've still got this Chain Vest and this BF sword that I can use to make something else. So I was like, maybe Guardian Angel, but we got a carousel coming up. Let's see what we can get from the carousel first. All right, so here we are. We're up against, I believe that this is the match up against Gilva here. So running Shadow and Summoner and Berserkers. Again, a strong comp. Good choice, but we seem to be up to the task right now because we're getting all those Predator executes. Cog is still doing his thing, and once he's got that Rage Blade stacked up, he attacks very fast indeed. Didn't really seem to have much trouble getting through there. So yeah, in the battle between the 2 long winning streaks, it looked like my comp was apparently stronger as we go up to a 9-match winning streak. So there's another Cog. If I can get down to, if I can get to level 9, I will just start rolling for Cog, if I can. Now again, you don't have very good odds of hitting level 1 or 1-cost units when you're at level 9. When you're at level 9, it's only 10% odds for the 1-cost units to appear. So that's not ideal, but if I have enough money, I can probably find the last 2 cogs that I need. Need a little bit of luck, of course, but like I said, if you've got enough money, you can usually just keep re-rolling until you find what you need. And somewhat oddly, I haven't found much in the way of 5-cost units yet. I have not found any of like the late game carries, so I'm still waiting to see what we're going to get there. Here's Face Murder. He was the one who beat me before with his 3-star Vlad. And this time we're going to be able to, very importantly, get the healing debuff on Vlad. I don't know if you could see, but oh my god, the Nico ultimate, does a lot of damage. Fortunately, we are just barely strong enough. And it looks like that's one of the comps that I'm having a lot of trouble dealing with. The double-casted Nico ultimate did just a ridiculous amount of damage. Pretty much blasted through my entire team, but had just enough Predators left over with Warwick and Rek'Sai in order to get the kill, and that runs this out to a 10-match winning streak. So like I said, I have just disgustingly rich in this game. I have so much money. There, I'm going to pick up another Cog, and I was like, man, really wish I hadn't accidentally dropped that Nico onto Ezreal earlier, because I could have the 3-star Cogmaul right now, and that sure would be nice to have 3-star Cogmaul right now. If you look at Cog's health bar, he has very, very low health. He has like 300 health. So it's not just getting the extra damage from a 3-star Cog. The extra health would make him much, much tankier. in these fights. He really is not particularly tanky, but hey, he's got a ton of attack speed and a ton of attack damage, so as long as he can stay alive, even if it's just for a couple seconds in these fights, it should be enough to win, as you've been seeing. Anyway, this time we're over back to RLNGG again, who is running Shadow Inferno Summoner Ranger, also a strong comp. He's got, his carry is that Kindred. If you look right there, Kindred's got the, what is it, he's got the, well, Kindred's dead now. And it looks like I'm actually going to be challenged. I actually come up a little bit short in this one. Frontline got melted too fast. Kindred was doing a nice job. He had the, wow, now I can't even remember what items he had, but it was enough to break my 10-match winning streak. The good news for me is I'm level 8 on max gold. Our LNGG was in a rough position. He was level 7 and he had no money whatsoever. He's had to roll this down completely. So long term, he's not in great shape, whereas I'm sitting pretty comfortably. All right, we've got another carousel. This time we've got the fully made items that we can pick. I actually would have loved Force of Nature, but that goes immediately, of course. And a lot of the other good items. I'd also love to get the Static Shiv. I'd love to get the Ruin's Hurricane, but all of them are gone earlier on. So I was like, all right, well, out of the items that's left, there is one that's really good, and that's the Frozen Hammer, Frozen Mallet, excuse me. I can pick that up, and that adds another Glacial champ. So I was like, okay, you know, with this, I can probably get to Glacial 6. Otherwise, it would be really, really hard to get to Glacial 6 because there's not that many Glacial champs. There's actually only 5 Glacial champs, so you need to get a Mallet to get to Glacial 6. And then I get another huge piece of luck. I hit on Glacial Lux. So Lux's avatar, I find the Glacial version of her. That will give me two. She counts as 2 champions who have Glacial. So between her and that Frozen Mallet, I can actually get up to Glacial 6. So I'm just going to have to dump this on a champ. I'm going to go ahead and put this on, let's see, I think I put it on Mundo here, because I can slot in Twitch, and then put in Mundo, and that gets me to Poison as well. And there we go. That gets us up to Glacial 6, Poison 3, and Predator. Now, I still need to reposition. My positioning is not great here, and then I'm just going to use the other end to put a Guardian Angel on Twitch. My positioning is still not great here. And in fact, this match is actually not going to go all that well, because my front line has gotten carved up pretty quickly. In fact, Malphite gets off a really nice ult as well. So even though I've made my comp here, and I was very excited about that, this particular fight goes very poorly because the Zed, who has really good items, Zed with, well, maybe not really good, 3 items Zed, actually not ideal items, but yeah, Zed just managed to start cloning himself. And so that fight ended up going rather poorly. But here, I actually get a much better Poison champ. I actually find a Singed here. I was like, oh, Singed, okay. Well, there's no need to keep Mundo around at this point. I can put in Singed instead. Now, that does lose me Berserker, but I think that's still worthwhile in order to get Singed in, because Singe will make it much easier to poison people. And then, I go ahead and hit the 3-star cogs. I was like, all right, well, now I'm really rolling in stuff. I'm going to find Singed and another Lux. I was like, all right, well, this is just great. I can really make this guy. I actually think I kept Mundo in here because I wanted to keep that Berserker's buff in here for the time being. So anyway, yeah, I'm starting to hit on some different things. Now that Cog is 3-star, he's got double the health that he had before, from 600 health up to 700 health or something like that. So he's not going to have any trouble chomping through all these enemies. Twitch's Guardian Angel gets proc, but by this point we've killed the entire front line, and we easily win that match. Somewhat unfortunately, it's a ghost round, because I would have done a lot of damage to that particular comp. I can't remember which one that was. I think it was RLNGG 33's comp, but I'm not 100% sure. By the way, check out those health bars. We have people at 15 health, 4 health, 2 health, 2 health, and 1 health. So yeah, people are going to get knocked out soon. We still have 7 people, but it's not going to last much longer. There's just no way everyone can keep winning. So we're going to be down to a handful of people relatively soon. And that'll be nice for me, because then I can start matching up here, because I'll know who I'm actually up against. Anyway, huge piece of luck there. I also hit the Singed 2-star, which is just going to make me a much stronger poison comp. Going to be way easier to get that poison effect in play now that it's Singed who's running around poisoning people. A little bit tricky for me to get the poison in play, which is Cog and Mundo and Twitch that had the poison. So yeah, the poison, if you're not familiar with it, poison is really, really strong. It's a late game setup. When poison champs deal damage, targets' mana costs go up by 50%. Really, really good against mage and summoner setups, because they don't really do anything until they get their ults off. Anyway, I also get a useful item there. I get Ruin's Hurricane, so I'm going to dump that on Twitch, and that's really nice. So I will just continue sitting here, and now I'm pretty much my comp's made at this point. I'm just looking for the Lux 2-star, and I'm looking for the Twitch 2-star, and then after that, I'm just going to look to try and find 3-star units. If you're watching closely, I did actually make a mistake here. I put the Glacial Mallet, the Frozen Mallet on Singed, and that's actually a mistake because Glacial only kicks in when you auto-attack, and Singed never auto-attacks. Singed just runs around poisoning people. So I should have put that on, probably should have put that on the someone like Scion instead. Or, let's see, what other non-Glacial champs do I have? Or I even could have put it on Twitch, although I'm still hoping to find another item for Twitch, because Glacial's not really ideal for him. But yeah, it really should have gone on someone else. And yeah, I am just shredding Face Murderer right here. With all of his champs being poisoned, it made it harder for him to get his spells off. And then, I mean, I've got the 3-star cog with some pretty disgusting items here. The double Giant Slayer plus Rage Blade plus Zeke's buffing him, so it's pretty strong. And Twitch is going to be really strong too if I can make him Twitch 2-star. So hopefully I'll be able to do that before this is over. Again, I've just got so much money. I'm super duper rich in this game from winning so many games, and got to level 9 early on. One thing that I should mention is that one of the reasons why I'm seeing a lot of these 5-cost units is I made it to level 9 pretty early, whereas hardly anyone else is 9. I think most of the other players ended up getting capped out around level 7. A couple people made it to 8, but a lot of them were around 7. And, you know, if everyone's around 7 and I'm one of the only people at 9, I'm going to see a lot of those 5-cost units because they're just not going to show up for other players. Gilva has also made it to 9, and it looks like Gilva's going to be my main opposition. He's running the Shadow Summoner Berserker, I think, which is a strong comp in its own right, but I don't think it's quite as good as what I've got here. The Glacial 6 in particular is just disgusting. Glacial 6 in this patch was 60% chance to freeze on an auto attack. So if you're looking closely, I'm just freezing everybody in these fights, and there's not much they can do. They just get frozen, and then Cog, you know, predators them and they just die. So RNLG 33 just barely gets finished off by me, finishes in 4th, and then this victorious player also gets finished off. So it's just going to be down to me and Gilva, which is good because we'll be able to get a faster finish to this game. One thing that you notice is these matches in set 2 do tend to take a little bit longer, and here I'm just trying to clear my bench a little bit. I was thinking about Olaf, but I decided not to go into Olaf. I was trying to think of who I would put in. He would make Berserker, but I just couldn't see who I would take out to put Olaf in, which is a bit of a shame because I ended up getting a ton of Olafs here. And there I make Singe 2, another Singe 2-star. I was like, all right, can I make a Singe 3-star here? Because that would just be absurd. But I really want to make Twitch 2-star. And by the way, there's another Singe. I was like, oh my god, I'm 2 Singed away. But there we go. There I managed to get Twitch 2-star in just before this fight starts. So this is my comp right now. Everybody except Lux is 2-star. Glacial Poison Predator, then the Avatar and Alchemist, that's Singed and Lux, and then the Ranger. The Ranger 2 is not that strong, but I mean, just watch Cog in these fights. He's doing so much damage, and even like Ezreal and Twitch are doing a lot of damage by this point in time too. You see the enemy team focusing on Singed just long enough for the rest of my champs to get in here and do some damage. And so we're going to take down Gilva in that particular round. And the nice thing is my comp still really has room to get stronger. Like, I can still put more items. I'm looking here. Let's see. I was like, oh, that Ionic Spark is probably the best item, but that's gone. I was like, okay, you know what? Well, Shojin's not bad. I think, Twitch or Ezreal would love having that Shojin. So I can put that on them and buff their damage a little bit more. So, go ahead and do that. So let's sell the Braum. Put Shojin. I think I decided to put it on Twitch. It probably would have been better on Ezreal because Ezreal has the cheap mana cost, so it might have been better on him. And at this point, I'm just like rolling for 3-star units pretty much. I thought that was a Rek'Sai, but then I was like, oh wait, no, that's actually Nocturne. There's another Twitch, and I was like, should I go for Twitch 3-star? There I actually hit on Lux, so now I've got Lux 2-star as well. Lux doesn't have any items, but she does still do a lot of damage. She is in the corner because that's where her ult is most effective. She is most likely to hit a lot of people with her laser by putting her in the corner. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to go for the Twitch 3-star. And then immediately after selling Twitch, I find 2 more Twitches. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Probably could have had the Twitch 3-star if I'd gone for it. So like, I'm still rolling here. I might as well. The game's about to end. But yeah, I mean, at this point, my comp is, I mean, that Lux laser just did a ton of damage. My comp is just so strong. With Twitch, with the Singe poisoning everybody, it takes way too long for them to get their abilities off. And Cog, look at the damage dealt, 5,700. Lux doing over 3,000, so she is contributing in a pretty big way as well. And she's even got the Inferno Hex, so she attacks faster. And look at this, so many Twitches! Ah, could have had Twitch 3-star here. Or could have had Volibear 3-star if I hadn't sold my Volibears. There's another Lux, but I won't get Lux 3-star. There's only 10 Luxes in the pool, period. And Gilva already has, I think, 2 of... He has at least 1. I think he might even have 2 of them. So I'm not going to hit the Lux 3-star. There's not enough time. And there's yet another Twitch. I was like, Twitch 3-star. Could have had the Twitch 3-star, which would have been super duper nice. But in any case, if you want to take a look at Gilva, I think I actually highlight his comp here. Did I do that? His issue is he's actually gone up to 7 Shadow, and 7 Shadow doesn't do anything for you. I mean, I guess more champions get the Shadow buff, but, you know, Shadow only has it only goes up to 4. Like, you don't get anything for going beyond 4. And so we actually win very easily because my comp is continuing to get stronger, and he really isn't. But check out that message in the top left-hand corner. Gilva has quit. I actually didn't notice this while playing. He actually leaves the game, and I've never seen someone leave when there's just 2 people left in the match. You figure you might as well stick it out and maybe you can win the round, but I guess Gilva just got impatient. So at this point, I wasn't even thinking about this. I was like, oh, cool, another useful item. I've got the Warmogs. I can put Warmogs on one of my tank champs. I was thinking of putting it on Singed because that'll just make him even harder to kill as he runs around poisoning people. I'm like, all right, this is cool. We're going to have an even tankier Singed. I just won that last round super duper hard. I think I did like 25 damage or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, see how he has 7 Shadow? He has just more Shadow than he needs. He probably would have been better off using his champion slots to make some other kind of buff than using it on Shadow. But wait, anyway, watch this. I was about to find out what happens when someone leaves the game. I was like, all right, let's put that Warmogs on Singed. But, oh my god, what's going on? And yeah. What? So yeah, apparently that's what happens when someone leaves the game, is you get that screen. So that's a new one, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take the first place finish. Anyway, so just a couple notes on this. I actually don't think this game was necessarily played better than the first one I put on YouTube because I didn't really have to transition my comp at any point in time. So it was a lot easier and I kind of got what I needed. But by the same token, I had a firm plan in mind for where I wanted to make my comp, like where I wanted to go with my comp, and then I just kind of got what I needed. So turned into a relatively easy first place finish. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed getting to see this Predator plus Glacial comp. And if you're playing Teamfight Tactics, best of luck to you. Until next time, see you guys soon. Take care.